Michael Buffer joining me here now live on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Michael?
I'm good, Rich. How are you?
I am pleased to be hearing from you. I'm a fan of obviously what you do and how you do it, and I'd love to know how it got started. Where did the Let's Get Ready to Rumble first begin, Michael?
I'm from Philadelphia, and in the late 70s, early 80s, boxing became a big thing in Atlantic City, New Jersey, with all the casinos that suddenly popped up. And, they wanted entertainment to bring in people to play slot machines and gamble and that sort of thing. And it seemed like they had fights 2-3 times a week. And I, as a fan, I thought, well, this is better than trying to buy a ticket, which I couldn't afford. And I got my foot in the door, and it just took off because ESPN had something called Top Rank Boxing.
Oh, yeah.
ESPN back in 1982, and that's when I started.
So where did you come up with the idea to say that?
Well, and I'm sure you and the guys have all noticed through the years I've tried to shorten it a little bit, but when the fighters would come to the ring for the main event, you have music, it's exciting, it's electric, it's the anxiety level is high, and then the ring announcer would kill the crowd by introducing the entire boxing commission, along with 4 doctors and, of course, the 3 judges and referees and the supervisor of the whatever world title alphabet was going on. And I wanted something to bring back the crowd, like Gentlemen Start Your Engines, after all the things that go on at the Indy 500. Everybody knows the race is about to begin. And so I just wanted to bring it back to introduce the stars of the show, and that's the fighters. And so, the great Muhammad Ali used to say, "I'm so pretty, I'm ready to rumble."
Right.
And I just sort of like picked that up with, Let's Get Ready to Rumble, and stayed with it. I tried Man Your Battle Stations and
You did.
Ladies and Gentlemen, Fasten Your Seatbelts, and that was crickets.
So what were some other ones that you discarded that you thought of and threw on the Michael Buffer scrap heap, saying that didn't work?
I guess there were a few others that I probably never tried with the microphone, but maybe in front of the mirror before I left for Atlantic City.
Yeah, you never really tried it out in the ring. I'm with Michael Buffer. So what are the other more, before I get into some of the fights that you've done this for that strike your memory? But what is because I'm sure you've had very rich people, billionaires, try to hire you for bar mitzvahs or coronations and things of that nature, christenings. What's the most unique or bizarre offer that you've ever gotten for you to start with your marquee phrase, "Let's get you ready to rumble"?
I have done a few bar mitzvahs, and like you say, when those requests came in, we threw a number at them that we thought would just this will end this, and they didn't blink.
I'm sure.
An 11-year-old's birthday party for a hedge fund guy in Connecticut, where he hired me and about 10 other wrestlers that make millions of dollars. So I know they got paid a fortune, and that was pretty crazy in the guy's basement, which was the size of the Nokia Theater, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. Michael Buffer joining me now. So the actual fights that you have started before the touching of gloves, which one, for you being there, just for the spectacle, is something that you'll never forget, Michael?
There's some really great venues that are really exciting. Last year, Frotch and Groves fought in front of 85,000 at Wembley, and that was pretty exciting.
Oh, my gosh.
I just got back from Belfast, where they have a hometown hero named Carl Frampton, a junior featherweight. It was just an unbelievable atmosphere. For 20 minutes before the main event, they sing songs together, and of course they've all had quite a few pints by then, Mm-hmm. And great fans in the UK and Ireland. We're doing fights in China now, and the crowds keep getting better. But Madison Square Garden is still the mecca of boxing. Very exciting to do a big fight there. Recently, when Cotto beat Martinez in front of a sellout crowd, just the roof came off, very electric. But some of the best fights that I've done came under. I'll tell you what. My favorite fight that I think is like the best one I ever sat at.
Yep.
It was in a blizzard, Atlantic City, February of '89. Roberto Duran, Iran Barkley,
Nice.
and Duran wins a split decision and becomes middleweight champion.
Why
Great fight.
Why? Yeah. Why? Why does that one stand out to you?
It was like the referee didn't even have to get in the ring. They just fought for 12 rounds. Duran in the 10th or 11th round comes up with a three-punch combination that drops Barkley, and he gets a 2-point swing out of the round and pulls out a split decision. Just a great fight.
Yeah, and we just showed a photograph of it for the radio audience and for you. So I'm sure you're not in front of a television, Michael. We showed you look shocked at the moment that Barkley's going down. You're standing next to a cop ringside in a tuxedo. You look pretty surprised there.
Yeah, I understand somebody wants to know about the tuxedo.
Yeah. Chris Brockman, go for it.
Yeah, Michael,
you
look,
got your moment.
I've been watching fights that you've been calling since I was probably 6 years old, and you're always up there in the fanciest, swaggest out tuxedo. Why do boxing announcers and everyone involved wear tuxedos at big fights?
Oh, I'll tell you what, when I started to realize this was going to be a full-time job, I sort of like really researched it and a bit of the history and all that. And an announcer named Joe Humphreys used to do all those fights in Madison Square Garden in the 20s and into the middle 30s. He passed away in his 60s. And he was that classic, you mentioned earlier, the Looney Tunes referee. This guy was the classic, in the red corner, wearing the black trunks, and he would say, champion of the world. But I think he's the one that started wearing a tuxedo in the ring. He actually was the first ring announcer inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame 60, 70 years before I was a couple years ago. And he was a pretty legendary guy from Madison Square Garden. I think he started it. And it just became tradition.
Yeah. And so now everyone just wears tuxes, I guess.
Yeah, but for BKB, I just wear a nice suit.
Okay.
I take a break.
Yeah, you take a break from the tux. It's less formal. Well, BKB has no ropes, right? I mean, there's no ropes.
Right.
There's no ring.
It's a circle.
And no tux.
It's a true ring. It's a circle.
It's a circle.
It's the pit.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty neat stuff. And you'll be there again for BKB 2. There's 2-minute rounds with 1-minute break in between rounds. The undercard matches are 5 rounds. The championship matches are 7 rounds. And the pit is half the size, twice the knockout, 17 feet across.
Yeah, and what's really great is they have, technology every year gets better and better. They have a microchip in the glove that allows the fans to see the impact and location of punches. I don't know how they do these things. I just got a new car recently, and I'm still thinking I'm in the future with what they can do.
Right.
And to see this in boxing, I think it's a great idea, and it's something that BKB is revolutionizing. And this really is a good event Saturday. The guys in the main event, Curtis Showtime Stevens, he's a pretty devastating puncher. He's got 27 wins with 20 KOs. And Gabe Rosado, who isn't known as a knockout puncher, but he's got the BKB title, he knocked out Brian Vera in his last fight in BKB. And Brian Vera is the guy that everybody thought beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. last year, 2 years ago. So you really don't know what's going to happen because there's no chicanery with rope-a-dope or anything. They just have to go out there and fight.
Yeah.
And I think with the 2-minute rounds, they just let it all hang out every round.
I look forward to it Saturday night. Have the Pacquiao-Mayweather people reached out to you yet, Michael?
Yeah, it looks like we haven't finalized that deal, but it's pretty much a done deal. We're looking forward to it. I've already got things to do before and after in Vegas, so it's going to be great. But this time of year is such a great. You got BKB coming up.
Yep.
The baseball season starts Sunday. Yes, it was a great interview with Ron Darling, by the way.
Thank you.
No, he's a great guy. And Final Four, NBA playoffs and Stanley Cup playoffs around the corner. I
Masters.
love March and April, and it's just it's a great time to be involved in sports.
Now, I know that the 3 college teams that have asked you to come and announce their coaching staff with "Let's get ready to round ball," the UConn men's and women's team and the Duke Coach K asked you to do it. They all went on to actually win the championship each time you did
that's
it.
pretty
Michael.
freaky. I've done a lot of games in NCAA where I would come in person, for home openers and like big rivalries and things where I introduced the team and let's get ready for round ball, so people don't think I'm encouraging fistfights on the court.
No, I know. Of course not.
3 times I actually recorded the entire lineup, every player on the team and the coaching staff and, from the so-and-so arena and all that. And then they would play that for the entire season, and they could select each player for the starting 5, and push a button, and it's like I'm there. Each of those 3 times, the teams went on to win the national championship.
So did you do it for any of the Final Four teams this year? So
No,
I couldn't
not
figure.
this year. But I see Duke is in there. I did it for them a few years ago.
There you go.
I'm a big Badgers fan, and it's they're going to be the underdog against Kentucky. That's just got to be a great game.
Yeah.
Badgers were in the last year, so great Final Four.
It is that. Michael, thanks for calling in. I hope you get to enjoy doing the BKB too, and I'd love to have you back. It's been a fun
love
chat.
to come back. Why don't let's get together before Mayweather-Pacquiao, and we'll see what the lay of the land is.
You almost did it. Let's get together. Right? Is that did that work? I didn't really lay into it.
That works. And I love the IROC.
Michael, thanks for calling in.
One more thing. At my age, though, my first car was a '46 Plymouth. Nothing. No pony cars.
There, no GPS in that one. I imagine. Thanks for calling in, Michael.
Take care, guys.
Chat soon. That's Michael Buffer.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.